Welcome to our weekly Timeless Principles for Extraordinary Living with Dr. Alex. Dr. Alex believes that you were born for extraordinary exploits, to be an exhibition of divine abundance. Today's session, as all others, will inspire you to experience extraordinary living. Join Dr. Alex now.
Welcome to Timeless Principles with me, Dr. Alex. I am so excited that you have selected our channel today. I want to just encourage you, if you have not yet subscribed, just go ahead and press that subscribe button. And if you're already subscribed, I would love to encourage you, press that like us, that thumbs up, send us a comment, share this channel with your friends. I'm looking forward to connect with your friends, with your partners, and other people that are in your circle. Today, I'm so joyful to be introducing Series 818. One of these days, you must ask me, what are these numbers? What is this 1818 and all the other numbers I use in this series? I am confident that this is a life-transforming series, that if you will go along with me, your life and my life and the lives of those around you will never be the same. This series I've entitled Thinking Beings. Thinking Beings. I want to lay a statement for this series that will be what I'll repeat over and over again. And the statement is, we are thinking beings. We, as humans, are thinking beings. We live inside a biological container, but we are not just a lump of meat that is carried by bones. We are thinking beings, and the biological container we live in interacts with our thinking side. And that's how, as humans, we move forward or we move back. I've decided that the best way to introduce the series Thinking Beings is to start by talking about the thing that's at the core of thinking. You asked to tell us, what is at the core of thinking? Well, at the core of thinking is what we call questions. Questions. Remember the days when you were a student, whether at school or at some college or wherever you are, they used to have something called examinations. And I know some of you are still students somewhere. Think back now, examinations came in several forms or several styles. Some of the exams, you were given a number of questions and you had to answer all the questions in the paper. Maybe there were 10 questions and you had to answer all the 10. While some of the exams were a little bit different, they gave options. You didn't need to answer all the questions, but the questions that you chose to answer would be the ones on which you will be graded on. The questions that you chose to answer will be the basis of your grading. In introducing our series, Thinking Beings, the premises around the core of thinking, which is questions, is the following. Listen very carefully now. In life, the questions you choose to answer have an impact in your outcomes. Let me say it again. Think of this style of exams where there were options. The questions you choose to answer are the questions that will have the greatest impact in your life. What you choose to answer triggers your thinking side. When the questions come to you from life, from friends, from your spouse, from work, maybe 10 of them come, 3 of them come, the ones you choose to answer are the ones that triggers your thinking side. In other words, what you choose to answer in life impacts how your life outcomes manifest. Let me say it again. What you choose to answer in life impacts how your breakthroughs unfold. The questions that come to you in this world are pregnant with your breakthroughs. Put it again. Whatever questions are thrown to you, whether by life, whether by other people, those questions are pregnant with your breakthroughs. In other words, how your breakthroughs will unfold is determined by the questions that you will choose to answer. I can give you an example before I do a case study. Some of you are in relationships. If I were to go back to when you were choosing the relationships, I would say to you, a couple of people asked you out. Some people came and asked you out. In other words, there were several individuals that asked you some question. And the one that you ended up with is the one that you selected to answer their question. Yes, you'll argue, Dr. Alex, well, I also answered the other guy. He went away, I answered. But the reality of life is that the questions are pregnant with your breakthroughs. And the ones you choose to answer unfolds, determines how your breakthroughs unfold. Here's a case study which I love very much. I'm going to read this case study and we'll use it to show you the centrality of your choice of question. This is how we introduce our thinking being. I know you would have said, Dr. Let's introduce it by how we think. That's not the idea. It's the questions that triggers our thinking. And if we choose the right questions, we will choose the unfolding of our breakthroughs in a particular way. Here is a case study. I'm reading this case study, and it says, a certain woman of the wives of the sons of the prophets cried out to Elisha, saying, your servant, my husband, is dead. And you know that your servant feared the Lord, and the creditor is coming to take my sons to be his slaves. This is in the great book, the scriptures, 2 Kings chapter 4. I'm reading verse 1. I'll just go up to verse 2. So Elisha, it says in verse 2, said to her, what shall I do for you? Tell me, what do you have in your house? And she said, your maidservant has nothing in the house but a jar of oil. We're not preaching, so I won't go to the whole story, and I encourage you to go read it. This is a story where the transformation, the breakthrough of this particular family was triggered or was based on the question that she chose to answer. The reality before the breakthrough happens is the following. This lady has a husband, a religiously zealous husband. Yet, his religious zeal had not helped this family. You know, I always think of this as the story of Africa, where we have such zeal for our religion, but many times it hasn't shown in our life. This was her case. The husband was such a zealous man for their religion, but it did not help very much. As a matter of fact, we meet her here. She has financial challenges. In particular, she had the problem of debt, which had made her family become slaves. She is therefore beginning the transformation by reaching out to her relationships. We were speaking in the previous series about managing relationships. This is very important. Don't keep yourself locked in your room, in your house, in your environment. Reach out to some relationships. So there we start the story then. She has a zealous husband who's dead, and the zealous husband has left her with so much financial challenges, and then she decides, I'm not going to remain in my house alone and die alone as a slave. I'm going to step out of my house and reach out to relationships. The relationships opened her doors to break through. But how did the relationship open the doors? Okay. This is what happened. Elisha asked her 2 questions. Elisha asked her 2 questions. Life and the people around us has a way of asking us questions. When we pay attention to the questions that are asked us, we are triggering the process of thinking. And when we trigger the process of thinking, we are unfolding our own breakthroughs. There were 2 questions that Elijah asked. Question number 1, he said, what can I, or what shall I do for you? What shall I do for you? Before she answered, he asked her the second question. What do you have in your house? So it's like that examination, which is called options. It's like that examination I talked about earlier. So 2 questions are thrown on the table. She has to pick one question that she will answer, and the question that she will pick will be the basis upon her breakthroughs happen. Will be, in the case of examination, will be the basis upon she becomes graded. But the questions are before her. Questions are at the core of thinking. Now, she looks at the 2 questions. We are not told how long the pause and the reflection was. She looked at the 2 questions. Listen very carefully. Either question would bring the solution. But the question that she will choose, or let me put it this way, either questions would bring a solution to her, yet the way the solution would unfold would be very different. If she chooses question 1, what shall I do for you? The breakthrough will unfold differently. If she chooses question 2, what do you have in your house? The breakthrough will unfold differently. The core of thinking is the questions we choose to answer. I want us to explore this now. Question 1. Think of this now. What can I do for you? Let's analyze the 2 questions. If she answers question 1, and probably she says, give me money so that I go and pay the creditor so that we come out of slavery. If she answers that question, what she is doing, she is losing control of the process for her breakthrough. Because the question doesn't bring her as a participant. The question simply just says, what can I do for you? In other words, sit there, do nothing, and I just do things for you. You are out of control of the process for your breakthrough if you answer the set of questions like question 1, where it is the people in your external environment who do things for you, but you actually are not a participant. Question 2, Let's analyze question 2. Question 2 says, what do you, I want you to see the difference here. Question 1 is, what can I do for you? Question 2 is, what do you have in your house? In other words, question 2 is saying, be a participant in the process that unfolds your breakthrough. The beauty of engaging the set of questions like question 2 is that you then manage the process of your breakthrough. You determine the pace, you determine the dynamics, even the level of breakthrough is determined by you. I mean, we're not engaging the full story here. Let me show you what I mean by that. If she said, well, give me money so that I go pay the creditor, she would only have the level of breakthrough that's determined by the other person. So what Elisha would have done, she would have just given her money. She simply goes pay the creditor, but she still doesn't have much to live on. But because she chooses a question that, well, I haven't got into that yet, but the question to brings her as a participant. Here is the point of introducing this series that we're thinking beings. Whichever questions you choose to answer, I want you to see that as I analyze those two questions. Whichever question you choose to answer will determine the pace, the dynamics, the level of how your breakthrough unfolds. In life, don't immediately answer the questions that are put before you. As a matter of fact, here is a statement I want you to capture for your desired future. In this world, you have no obligation to answer all the questions that come your way. And questions will come your way. But you have no obligation to answer all the questions. Remember, we are engaging thinking beings here. But listen to this. But once you choose to answer a question, you have chosen the unfolding of your breakthrough. Hear it again. You will be faced with many questions in life. You have no obligations to answer all of them. But once you choose to answer any of those questions, you have selected the way your breakthrough will unfold. Why, Dr. Alex? Because questions are at the core of the thinking process. It is the questions that triggers, that inspires, that invokes our thinking. And when we choose particular questions, we are inevitably choosing a way through which our breakthrough will unfold. I am introducing this series 818, We Are Thinking Beings. And in my introduction of this series, I start off by saying questions are at the core of our thinking. It is questions that inspire the thinking process. And because questions inspire the thinking process, remember this premise: the questions you choose to answer will determine how your breakthroughs unfold. You have no obligations to answer every question that comes your way, but whichever one you choose to answer, understand that it will determine how your breakthroughs unfold. Well, before we disconnect today, I want to ask you that let us engage. Here's how I want to ask you. Between now and episode 2 of 818, what are some of the questions, or what is one or two questions that has been bothering you for some time now? Whether it's on your financial life, your relationship life, your spiritual life. What's that question or questions that's been bothering you? If you care to share, send us that question. Let us work together with you for your breakthrough. I would actually love to work with somebody, because we're introducing the thinking being by saying it is the questions you choose to answer that determines how your future unfolds. So what are some of those questions that has bothered you and have been central in your mind? Share them with us. And I don't want a lot. I just want one question from you to share, and then we begin to engage that. I'm looking forward to us dealing with this topic. We are thinking beings. We truly love you. We want to see you on this program. We want to see you on this channel. Let us talk. Let us engage. Let us open up that side of you. We're going to engage the idea of critical thinking, but it starts off with questions you choose to answer. We love you. Will continue to bless you. The Lord will continue to uplift you and reflect deeply on your way. To answer. Amen. Your future forward. See you at the top.
Thank you for connecting with us on Extraordinary Exploits with Dr. Alex. We value your connection. Join us every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Central African Time. And remember to invite others. Experience extraordinary living.